Those of you who've been listening or watching for a while will know each week we have a business problem mailed into us from a business owner, and myself and the guest will have a go at giving a solution. This week's problem came from Ron Skolnick, and Ron says, I need to up my business sales. How do I even start putting a marketing plan together? So it's quite a broad question. But I always start with a very simple thought process, which is who you're trying to target, what you're trying to tell them, and what do you want them to do. Yeah. And within that, who are you trying to target? The next question is then, where do they hang out? And I think far too many people, and Dan, you'll have probably got this. You'll have people who come to you and say, I want to appear on TikTok because everybody says we've got to be on TikTok. And I think that's looking at that's looking down the telescope the wrong way. You know, if you're selling, I don't know, Acorn stair lifts, you do not want to be on TikTok because people who are buying Acorn stair lifts are not on TikTok. So it's about who are the audience, what you're trying to get them to do, where do they hang out, and how is it best to target them? What would you add to that, Dan? To Ron's question,
I start with any challenge like this by getting a piece of paper or getting a whiteboard and drawing an upside down triangle on it, and thinking, right, okay, you put yourself in the customer's shoes, and you probably don't have one. Just one customer persona. Start with one, and then the others will fall down nicely behind it. And thinking out how do you take those people from that point of not even knowing about you through to parting with the hard-earned money. And thinking about all those stages in the thought process. And it's exactly what you said, Phil. Thinking out where do you hang out, where do you find those people, first of all, because without that, you've lost the game before you even started. But then how do you take them through? How do you take them on that journey with your brand? How do you inspire them to keep going? If you think about if you go to Amazon to buy some toothpaste or some pens or something, you kind of think about it very simplistically. You kind of start looking for pens, search, page through the hundreds of options, pick some. You kind of whatever the copy on the page either convinces you on price or on suitability if you need, and then you go through the purchase the checkout funnel. But you kind of think about it's a lot more nuanced. If I'm in the market. If I was in the market for pens, that's a good analogy. But if I'm not even aware of your stair list or whatever, you kind of have to win my attention first. And it's, as you said, making sure you're in the right place. And then once you've won my attention, actually giving me reasons to buy, actually giving me reasons to like you as a brand, actually giving me compelling things to keep me engaged.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the other thing to add, obviously with my background and with your background, we're talking specifically about, or we're focusing on media. Marketing covers so many different things that it could be direct mail, it could be point of sale, it could be sales promotion, it could be PR, it could be brochures, it could be print, it could be outdoor, it could be TV, it could be anything. And I think with a marketing plan, too many people start at the wrong end, and I think that's the key. So, Ron, I hope that's probably thrown 100 questions at you now, and you're now sitting there wondering what the hell I'm going to do. But it gives you a start point. So, if anybody else has got a business problem they'd like solving by myself or a future guest, drop me an email at phil@leedsbusinesspodcast.com, and we'll have a go at solving your business problem.